Hi, I'm Amy Saylor with the Connecticut Science Center. Every year, the Connecticut Science Center recognizes the achievements of STEM professionals and leaders in our state, especially those who share our mission to inspire lifelong learning through interactive and innovative experiences that explore our changing world through science. This year, we're happy to highlight some of the 2020 nominees for the Pettit Family Foundation Women in Science Leadership Award. This award recognizes a woman working in STEM who's a leader in her field and who also makes a significant effort to support other women and encourage girls in STEM. Today, I'm joined by Stephanie Higgins Bealing, founder and CEO of Replacement Lens Express. Thank you, Stephanie, for joining me this morning. So, I also want to say congratulations on your nomination for the 2020 Pettit Family Foundation Women in Science Leadership Award.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me, and I appreciate the nomination.
Sure. So, before you became the successful entrepreneur that you are, your interest in science was evident. Your interest in the environment was evident because I understand you used to hold a position as a fuel cell engineer. So, can you tell us a little bit about that and really what led you to pursue a career in STEM?
Sure. So my passion for science started at a young age. My father is an optometrist, and I was always exposed to biology and the sciences, and I always wanted to be a doctor. I got to high school, I went to Miss Porter's school, and they had this fantastic program called J-Term back in the day. Now it's called Wintram, or maybe it's different altogether now. But there was this fantastic opportunity to stop classes for a month and to pursue any sort of interest that you had. And I was dying to be a brain surgeon. I'd been to brain camp before, like in the summer. I was dying to be a neurosurgeon. So I did this fantastic 1-month internship, which also meant that when I got back from my internship, I didn't have any homework or classes or anything. So I would spend my days at Hartford Hospital watching surgeries, which was
Wow.
amazing. It was so fantastic. I was like this 16-year-old kid watching C-sections and heart surgery and brain surgery. And it was so fascinating. But what ended up happening was I'd go back to my dorm room at night and I had nothing to do. And I started reading science, Stephen Hawking's books and learning about physics. And so during my time studying biology during the day, I actually fell in love with physics at night. So I quickly decided I didn't want to be a neurosurgeon anymore, and I wanted to be a physicist, not really knowing what that meant. But I loved studying it and reading about it. So that was kind of my focus at Miss Porter's for my last 2 years. And then I went on to be the only female physics major at Hamilton College. There were only 9 of us, so it wasn't like it was a big group, but I loved studying physics in school. And then when I graduated, it came time to get a job in physics. And I was told that there were only 2 tracks. You can either be an engineer or you can be a professor. And neither of those things really interested me, so I just kept going to school. So I rather than getting a master's in physics, I decided to get a master's in material science engineering. And that kind of combined my interest of art and science. So I went on to the University of Connecticut Institute of Material Science, and I got my degree in ceramic engineering. Then you might ask, what do I do with ceramic engineering? And one of the answers given to me was study fuel cells. And I'd always been interested in the environment. My senior thesis in college was a geochronology of some sediment in Antarctica. So I spent a little bit of time researching in Antarctica, accidentally discovered a volcano, which was pretty cool. But yeah, when it came time to finding a job in ceramic engineering, fuel cells just made a lot of sense to me. So my first job was at Rolls-Royce Fuel Cells in the United Kingdom. And then I came back here, home to Connecticut, to work at UTC Power. So first handful of years in the sciences were fantastic. I loved working in it. Fuel cells, unfortunately, never really manifest themselves in a marketable or profitable. I feel like I have a lot of fuel cell friends who are not going to be happy with me for saying that, but I don't know, businesses suffered. UTC Power doesn't exist anymore. Rolls-Royce Fuel Cells doesn't exist anymore. So I sadly left that field to go into a more funded area. So I went into corrosion science, which is probably as boring as it sounds. It was very slow. You know, I loved loved studying this stuff. I just don't know if I loved it as much in actual practicality. You know, you're watching things rust, and it's like paint drying. And you know, I got a few patents from my research in corrosion science, and they literally came like 4 or 5 years later. You know, I'm getting the patents and I'm scratching my head trying to remember what it was for. So science was, at least in the capacity that I was doing it, was a little slower than the pace of life that I was used to or wanted.
What an interesting background. Thank you for sharing. And what a trajectory, right? And so, how then did you come to found Replacement Lens Express? What was that
Yeah,
transition like?
sure. So Um, when I was at United Technologies working at Carrier Corporation, I was fortunate enough to be getting my MBA from Carnegie Mellon's Tepper School of Business. So this was a fantastic distance learning program. I had a whole cohort of other engineering friends that were taking the classes with me. So I was dipping my hands in acids during the day, and at night I was getting my MBA. And it was a 2-year program. I believe I completed it a little bit faster than that, just because they were closing down the program at UTC, so maybe a year and a half. Um, and I ended up focusing on entrepreneurship. So while I was at Carnegie Mellon, I had to write a report about a fictitious company, and I wrote it about this eyeglass lens company. And my professor read it, and he was like, "You should do this. You should actually do this." And so I did it. And I thought it would be my practice business. I thought it would just kind of get me started, give me a little bit of experience. You know, I felt like, I think Michelangelo was the sculptor who said, the sculpture is in that block. It's just my job to carve it out. So I felt like I was an entrepreneur, but I just didn't have my business idea. Like I was an entrepreneur without a business idea. So
Hmm.
I never thought it would end up being the real company that would last 10 years, but here we are, and it's been successful.
Yes, it's been very successful. How exciting is that? And one of the things that's so impressive about your company is that it is comprised solely of women. And what is the benefit of having a company comprised solely of women?
I mean, it's interesting. So it's obviously, it wasn't ever an intention to have it solely be
Hmm.
women. It kind of evolved that way. It just so happened that, and there were men involved along the way for sure. But it just so happened that all the people running it on a day-to-day basis, all the people in the office, just happen to be women. And um, benefits obviously are employing women and giving them exposure and doing something worthwhile. It's a fantastic service and product for people because it's high quality stuff for a very low price.
Mm.
And it's also, direct to your door, and it's great for pandemic times because when you don't want to go out and buy something, you buy it online, right? So I don't want to generalize over the different sexes, but I do think women love helping people, and it's a business that helps people get what they need and want. So I think there's some synergy there.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. And on that note, how has the current pandemic affected your business, uh, or has it?
Yeah, so I actually started my business during a recession. I started it in 2010, and that was right after Lehman Brothers had crashed, and a lot of people were getting
Mm.
laid off, and we were going into this recession. So not only was it an environmental company, right? Don't buy new frames, just get your lenses.
Mm.
Don't get in the car and drive to somewhere, stay at your house. So I started during a recession, and I thought it'll be a low cost solution during a time when people are in need. And here we are again,
Here
full
you are
circle.
again.
People are losing their jobs and stuck at home. And it seems to be something that's very helpful to people in a time like this. So I would say that business has been steady. Our business was deemed by the state of Connecticut to be an essential business. So it's still running, it's still operating. Our opticians are still in the lab fulfilling orders. So we haven't really missed a beat from that perspective.
That's great to hear. That's great news. Can you then share with us, so what are some of the other projects that you're working on? What are some of the other roles that you play in your role as founder of Replacement Lens Express?
So my role that I play at Replacements Express or outside of the company?
Both, actually.
Okay. So now that the business is a fairly well-oiled machine, I'm not super involved in the day-to-day aspects of running it. orders come in the middle of the night while I'm sleeping, and in the morning my staff take the orders, fulfill them. I'm more thinking about big picture strategy, growing the company, trying to do some fun social media things. We rebranded not too long ago, getting a new logo, a new look and feel to the website. So I get to do all the fun stuff like that.
Mm.
I wish I were in the lab more than I actually am. In terms of other things, I'm a mom of 2 little girls, homeschooling them right now, lots of extra cuddle time at home. So,
Mm.
I used to feel a little bit guilty for working full time and having the business and doing all these other things, but I also think it's great for them to see it because I'm their example of what a woman is going to grow up to be
Sure.
like. And they get involved. They like to help me pick out the logo. They want to help me with the business, and they think it's fun. So I like that they're seeing that, and they're seeing that a lot more lately. So yeah, right now my time is spent between my day job, Replacement Lens Express, my children, and I'm starting another company right now. It's a little early to talk about it, but it's again going to be female focused. It's going to revolve around helping small business owners not only grow their business, but start it and grow it. And I want to focus on the strategic negotiation side of that, just because historically women have tended to not negotiate their salaries, which may or may not
Mm.
be
Hmm.
contributing to the gender pay gap. But I want to help other small companies now that I've kind of been there, done that. I've been working with SCORE, which is a national foundation associated with the SBA. I've had some fantastic help from my SCORE mentors over the year. So I'm in the process of becoming a SCORE mentor, working with other people. I basically just want to be rubbing elbows and hanging out with entrepreneurs. So I want to do that both from the volunteer capacity with SCORE, and I want to try my hand at consulting and having some projects associated with other small businesses, just to kind of be immersed in it and surrounded by it.
Well, thank you. It sounds like you are. It sounds like you will continue to do so and make great impacts. And certainly, you are the first and best role model for your girls. I mean, having women examples doing the things that they love to do, doing the things in realms that where women aren't typically seen is such encouragement, and it lets us all know what you and what all girls are capable of. So thank you so much for sharing your time with me this morning, and thank you for sharing your story. If people want to know more about you or Replacement Lens Express, where should they go?
Well, they can go to the website, replacementlensexpress.com. They can also email me directly. My new company is Smash Consulting, Smash with an E. It's, kind of like shattering the glass ceiling,
Ah,
but with a
yes.
cooler word. So Smash with an E. It also has SHE at the end. So that's my subtle hint of
Mm-hmm.
femininity. So working on the website still, but I think it's going to be smashconsulting.com. But if anyone wants to reach out to me directly, my email is shigginsbealing@gmail.com. So that's SHIGGINSBEALING@gmail.com. Love chatting with women business owners, wannabe business owners, scientists, young people, old people, whoever.
Great. Thank you so much, Stephanie, and you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, you as well.